You've packed the perfect carry-on. You checked the airline website. You measured the bag twice. You even bragged to your friend, "Don't worry, I'm good. I fly all the time." But the moment you roll your luggage toward the gate, a red light flashes. The agent stops you, your bag gets pulled aside, and suddenly you're standing there, confused, watching other passengers walk right past you. What changed? Why are carry-ons getting flagged in 2026 when nothing was wrong last year? Well, a lot actually changed. Quiet rule updates, weight traps, dimension traps, battery traps. Even scanning behavior can now get your bag flagged, and most travelers have absolutely no clue. So today, we're counting down the 10 biggest 2026 carry-on traps that are getting bags stopped, delayed, or forced into the cargo hold. Let's start at number 10, because if you miss even one of these, your bag might not pass. 10. The battery ban trap. Here's one of the biggest reasons bags are getting flagged in 2026, and it catches millions of travelers every single year: the battery ban trap. Most people think of batteries as harmless. They toss a power bank into the front pocket of their suitcase, zip it up, and check the bag without a second thought. But in 2026, this is one of the fastest ways to get stopped, delayed, or even forced to unpack your entire suitcase at the airport. Why? Because spare lithium-ion batteries, portable chargers, camera batteries, drone batteries, and most high-capacity power banks are now banned from checked luggage across nearly all major airlines. The rules aren't new, but enforcement in 2026 is stricter than ever. Airlines are now using automated scanners that detect battery density inside checked bags. If they find any loose lithium cells, your suitcase is immediately flagged. And here's the trap. Many travelers don't know that anything not physically installed inside a device counts as a spare battery. A camera battery in a pouch? A drone battery wrapped in clothing? A power bank clipped inside your backpack? All of these get your checked bag pulled. And the worst part, you're often not allowed to retrieve the battery at the counter, meaning it gets confiscated, and you risk missing your flight. So the 2026 rule is simple. If it charges something, powers something, or can explode when crushed, it stays in your carry-on, not your checked bag. 9. Watt-hour limits and hidden battery rules. Here's a trap almost no traveler thinks about until it's too late. Your battery might technically be illegal, even if security let you fly with it before. In 2026, watt-hour limits for lithium-ion batteries are being enforced much more aggressively. And honestly, thousands of passengers get stopped simply because they don't understand how these limits work. Most travelers buy a huge power bank thinking, bigger is always better. But those extra-large, high-capacity models, the ones meant to charge laptops or multiple devices, often exceed the TSA and airline limit of 100 watt-hours. If yours is between 101 and 160 watt-hours, you may be allowed to bring it. But here's the catch. You need airline approval before flying, and most people never request it. Anything above 160 watt-hours is completely banned from both carry-ons and checked bags. The trap gets worse. Many brands don't print watt-hours on the label. They only show milliamp hours, or mAh, forcing travelers to do the conversion themselves. And that's where people get caught. Because honestly, a 30,000 milliamp hour power bank can easily exceed the limit without you realizing it. Camera batteries, medical device batteries, and drone batteries have similar restrictions, and airlines now use automated scanners to detect oversized lithium packs. If your bag contains one that's too powerful, your carry-on gets pulled aside, your battery gets denied or confiscated, and you may miss boarding while sorting it out. The 2026 advice is simple but critical. Check the watt-hours before you fly, and never assume a big battery is allowed just because it fits in your bag. 8. Overpacked bags equals X-ray nightmare. One of the most surprising reasons carry-ons are getting stopped in 2026 has nothing to do with liquids, batteries, or banned items. It's simply this. Your bag is packed too perfectly. Travelers love the idea of packing like Tetris, rolling clothes tightly, filling every corner, squeezing every gap. It feels smart until your bag hits the X-ray belt. When a suitcase is packed too efficiently, it becomes a scanning nightmare. To the machine, it can look like one giant solid block with no clear separation between items, and that's exactly what triggers a manual inspection. Here's why. X-ray systems rely on being able to see through layers, but dense packing creates overlapping masses of fabric, electronics, toiletries, and metal components. The scanner sees a dark, uniform slab with unclear edges, something agents call a dead zone. And in 2026, with upgraded AI-assisted scanners, Any dead zone is treated as a potential concealment risk. This means the agent has no choice but to pull your bag aside. Once that happens, prepare for a full unpacking of your carry-on, items spread across the inspection table, slowed boarding lines behind you, and the risk of missing your group call or even your flight. The worst part? Most travelers think packing tightly helps them avoid fees. But in reality, an overstuffed, ultra-dense bag is more likely to get flagged than a slightly messy one. So the 2026 rule of thumb is simple. Leave a little breathing room. Spread out dense items. Make your bag easy to read, or it will get stopped every time. 7. Powders and supplements. Here's a carry-on trap almost no one talks about, and yet it derails thousands of travelers every month. Powders. Not liquids, not gels, but ordinary powders you'd never think twice about packing. In 2026, TSA's powder screening rules are being enforced more strictly, and anything over 12 ounces or 350 milliliters can trigger an automatic secondary check. That includes things like protein powder, baby formula, pre-workout, supplements, collagen mixes, meal replacements, and even cooking spices and ground coffee. The problem? To an X-ray scanner, powders create a cloudy, grainy mass that can hide other items. When the amount is large, it becomes difficult for the system to determine whether the substance is harmless or something more dangerous. That uncertainty forces the agent to pull your bag aside for a manual inspection, sometimes down to opening the container and testing a sample. And here's where the delay begins. A powder check is one of the slowest forms of inspection. You could be stuck waiting while an officer scans, swabs, tests, and confirms the substance. Meanwhile, your boarding group moves on without you. Even sealed containers aren't immune. TSA doesn't care if it's factory sealed or vacuum packed. If it's powder and the quantity is large, it's getting flagged. The 2026 strategy is simple. Keep powders under 12 ounces, pack them in an easy-to-reach spot, or, if possible, put them in checked luggage. Otherwise, that harmless tub of protein might be the reason you miss your flight. 6. Too many bags equals surprise fees. Here's a trap that honestly feels unfair because most travelers don't even realize they're breaking a rule, bringing too many small items, and then getting hit with surprise fees right at the gate. In 2026, airlines have tightened their personal item enforcement, and the definition of one personal item is now much stricter. What used to be ignored, a purse, a laptop sleeve, a duty-free bag, a water bottle holder, or even a small shopping bag, is now being counted separately. And if you walk up to the gate with more than your allowance, agents can force you to check your carry-on, with a fee that can range from $35 to over $100 depending on the airline. Here's the trap. Travelers think small items don't count. But airlines have realized this is, an easy revenue stream, so they've instructed gate agents to be extremely strict. Even a plastic duty-free bag can be considered an extra item. So can a laptop bag and a purse, a water bottle clipped to your backpack, a snack bag you picked up in the terminal, a jacket stuffed with items, or a small camera bag. Once you're flagged, you have two choices, and honestly, both are bad. Gate check your main carry-on for a fee, or, you're pretty much stuck. The 2026 solution? Travel like a minimalist. Consolidate early. Keep everything inside one backpack or carry-on. And if you must carry extras, stash them before you reach the gate, because airlines are watching closely, and the surprise fees are real. 5. Liquids, gels, and TSA's still watching. Every year there's a rumor that TSA is relaxing the liquid rules, and every year thousands of travelers get stopped because they believed it. The truth for 2026? The 311 rule is still very real and very enforced, and it's catching more people now than ever. The trap isn't just liquids, it's the confusing gray zone of gels, creams, pastes, lotions, balms, spreads, and semi-liquid items that don't look like liquids, but are treated exactly the same. Travelers hear that some airports are testing new scanners, and they assume the rules are gone. But in most US airports, the standard 311 rule is still active. 3.4 ounces per container, 1 quart-sized bag, and 1 bag per traveler. Here's where people get tripped up. Items like peanut butter, face creams, hair pomade, lip gloss tubes, gel deodorant, liquid makeup, pudding cups, spreadable snacks, and even thick sunscreens all count as liquids or gels. And if the container is bigger than 3.4 ounces, even if it's almost empty, it gets flagged. Agents don't have time to debate consistency, so if it squeezes, spreads, or smears, it's a liquid or gel, period. And despite talk of future rule changes, TSA's new scanners are not fully deployed nationwide. which means most checkpoints still operate under the old rules. If you assume otherwise, your bag will be the one getting pulled. The 2026 advice: pack liquids properly, downsize containers, and don't gamble on rumors. TSA is still watching, and they're catching the smallest mistakes. 4. Electronics must be accessible, always. In 2026, one of the fastest ways to get your carry-on stopped is also one of the simplest. Your electronics aren't easy to access. TSA may be moving toward more advanced scanners, but the reality is that most US airports still require laptops, tablets, large cameras, and gaming devices to be removed from bags and placed in separate bins. And when travelers bury them deep inside dense luggage, everything just grinds to a halt. Here's the trap. Many people assume that smart backpacks or tight packing will help them move faster. But if an agent can't clearly identify the shape, wiring, or battery outline of a device, the system flags the bag for manual review. Even worse, if the device is buried under layers of clothing or squeezed between shoes or chargers, the scanner produces unclear imaging, what agents call a tech shadow. That shadow instantly triggers a full inspection. And honestly, the more electronics you carry, the more likely this becomes. Laptops, tablets, handheld gaming consoles, portable monitors, large power banks, DSLR cameras, and hard drives must be removable and visible. If you can't quickly pull them out, you'll slow down the line, and your bag will definitely be pulled aside. Once an agent starts unpacking your items, the delay is almost guaranteed. They'll remove everything piece by piece, they'll rescan the electronics separately, and you may need to repack under pressure. The 2026 rule is simple. Design your carry-on around accessibility. Keep electronics near the top or in dedicated compartments. If TSA can't reach them fast, your bag isn't getting through fast either. 3. Smart luggage. Smart problem. Smart luggage sounded like the future, right? I mean, built-in chargers, GPS tracking, digital locks, even Bluetooth proximity alerts. But, in 2026, these smart features are actually becoming a major reason bags are getting stopped, questioned, or even outright denied at check-in. And honestly, the biggest issue comes down to one thing: non-removable batteries. Airlines have tightened their rules because lithium-ion batteries pose a fire risk when they can't be removed during emergencies. If your smart suitcase has a battery pack that isn't easily detachable, your bag might be flagged on the spot. And in a lot of cases, you just won't be allowed to fly with it at all. Here's where travelers fall into the trap. Most people assume that if a suitcase has a charger, it must be airline approved. But actually, many older smart luggage models hide the battery under panels or wiring that require tools to remove. TSA and airline staff don't have time for that. If they can't see a clear, quick-release battery latch, they treat the entire bag as a risk. This includes GPS-enabled suitcases, bags with built-in USB charging ports, suitcases with digital locks, and luggage with Bluetooth trackers inside the shell. And yes, even if you never use the battery, the rule still applies. If your smart luggage gets flagged, you could face denied boarding for the bag, forced bag check without the smart functions, removal of the battery, if possible, or being told to buy a new suitcase at the airport. The 2026 solution is simple. Only use smart luggage with a clearly removable battery, or it's not going anywhere. 2. Looks okay. Doesn't mean it's okay. Here's one of the most frustrating traps in 2026. Your bag looks perfectly fine, but it still gets flagged. Travelers assume that if their suitcase fits in the sizer, rolls easily, and feels light enough to lift, they're safe. But under the new 2026 rules, appearance means nothing, because airlines and TSA are catching issues you can't see. The trap is simple. A bag that seems within the limits can still break hidden rules, and the scanners catch everything. For example, your bag might fit the bin, but the front pocket bulges by half an inch, and suddenly it's oversized. Or your carry-on looks light, but internal density scans show too much weight concentrated in one area, flagging it for repacking. Even something small, like a strap hanging, a stiff handle, or a crooked zipper, can set off an automated alert. But here's what surprises travelers most. Many flags have nothing to do with size or weight at all. In 2026, bags are being pulled for strange shapes inside, like rolled belts or packed shoes, items layered too tightly, electronics buried under clothing, unusual patterns that confuse AI scanners, bags stuffed just enough to lose flexibility during sizer tests. So even if your bag looks perfect, it might not be. The 2026 lesson is clear. Don't trust appearances. Pack clean, pack smart, and assume the scanners see more than you do. Because these days, looks okay is the fastest way to get pulled aside. 1. Airline and destination-specific wildcards. Here's the most unpredictable trap of all, the one that blindsides even experienced travelers. What's allowed on one flight can be completely denied on another. In 2026, airlines and destinations are applying the rules differently, and the inconsistencies are catching people at the worst possible moment, right at the gate. The trap starts with the fact that TSA sets baseline rules, but airlines and foreign airports add their own layers on top. That means a carry-on that passes in Los Angeles might get flagged in London, or a bag that flies with Delta might be rejected by Frontier. Travelers assume the rules are universal, but they're not. And this year, the differences are bigger than ever. For example, some airlines ban certain smart luggage batteries entirely, while others allow them with restrictions. Some international airports require powders under a specific limit, while others demand they be checked. Even carry-on dimensions vary, and a bag that fits perfectly in one sizer can fail by an inch on another airline's stricter bin. Then there are destination rules. Countries with unique restrictions on medications, chargers, food items, dry goods, drones, or even power adapters. One mistake and your bag gets pulled. The danger is assuming yesterday's rule still applies today. So the 2026 survival strategy is simple but essential. Double-check your airline, your route, and your destination every single trip, even if it's a flight you take all the time. Because in 2026, the only thing consistent about carry-on rules is the inconsistency itself. So there you have it, the biggest carry-on traps of 2026. Some are new, some are stricter versions of old rules, and some are just completely unexpected. But they all share one thing in common. They can stop your trip before it even begins. From hidden battery limits, to overpacked bags, to airline-specific wildcards, the smartest travelers this year aren't the ones who pack the lightest. They're the ones who pack the smartest. The rules may feel inconsistent or confusing, but understanding them puts you miles ahead of the average flyer standing in the inspection line. Before you click away, I want to hear from you. Which rule surprised you the most? Have you ever been stopped for something you thought was totally harmless? Drop your story in the comments. I read every one. And if you found this helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more insider travel guides that help you fly smoother, cheaper, and stress-free. Safe travels, and see you in the next one.